and welcome to Nitty Live. Why did I suddenly sound like it's Halloween? Boo. Anyway, welcome to Nitty Live. I hope that you're having a great weekend. I hope that you've had a good week ahead. I am here with my Katigo mug, with my coffee. And just gonna wait a couple minute maybe, see who shows up. If you are here, please make sure to say hi in the chat. And if you're watching on replay, please jump into the conversation down in the chat, in the comments. Still can be a part of the conversation down in the comments. And make sure you get this right away. Please make sure to give a thumbs up to the live stream. Commenting, giving thumbs up lets YouTube know that this is a space worth checking out. Hello, Samantha. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So nice to see you. Well, see your name up on my screen. Let's see. What else do I need to do? Oh, my quick disclaimer. Down in the description box, you will find affiliate links. Affiliate links just means that if you plan to do a little shopping, you click on one of my links, you make a purchase, I may receive a small commission. The mission for my channel is to spread the joy of knitting and crafting, fiber arts in general, and affiliate links hopefully helps fund that. It helps support my channel so that I can buy supplies like do I have them here with me? Where did I put, I think I put them over to the side, but like my C-clamps. These made an appearance. My C-clamps made an appearance in my latest uploaded video, which was me figuring out whether it was better to buy it or make it a pom-pom maker. And if you have not watched that already and you're interested to find out, are the pom-pom makers that you find at the big box craft store worth purchasing, or are you better off trying a DIY method? Well, I have the video and I have some answers. So be sure to check that out. Sometime when you have a moment. Oh, I forgot something. Oh, I'll have to find I have a photo of it. I'll show you in a photo. Sorry, sidebar. I did get an exciting new tool today, or this week, and I meant to bring it into the craft room and show it to all y'all, and I realized that I left it out in the kitchen. So I will show you a photo of it. But it was inspired by Evie, who's here with us today. Hello, Evie. Thank you for showing up today. I so appreciate you being here. Evie, if you do not know, has her own fabulous YouTube channel that is all about spinning and fiber art, and I have learned so much about wool and spinning from her, even though my own attempts at spinning is still very rudimentary. Still working on my drop spindle. Samantha, yay, gadgets. Yes, yay, gadgets. I admit I am kind of a gadget. I can't use that word. That's not the right word. But I am definitely a gadget geek. I am a gadget queen. I love gadgets. I love them. And sadly, I have found over the years that oftentimes I have been disappointed in gadgets that I have found that promise to make my crafting life easier, and then I get it and I'm like, this didn't work out quite the way I wanted. But sometimes you find a gadget and it's perfection and you love it. And so, yeah, but I do also like making my own gadgets. I do like DIYing things whenever I can. In fact, my medium of choice is cardboard. I love making things with cardboard. I don't know if you've watched it or not. If you haven't, I have a whole video called Crafts and Hacks, Toilet Paper Rolls for Knitters. It's all about using toilet paper rolls and paper towel roll cores for various things for knitters. And one thing that I did make was a winding station, an adjustable winding station with toilet paper roll cores and some cardboard. And I'm very proud of it. It actually made my one of my favorites of 2020 in my 2020 in review video. Yes, gadgets. Gadgets, gadgets, gadgets. I have to say, my pom-pom maker video, I had never made pom-poms before. I had never made pom-poms. Pom-poms just never featured heavily in my life. And after doing the video and making so many pom-poms, I'm a little obsessed with them now. Because even just holding them, they're just so cute and delightful. It's like polka dots brought to life. And I'm on the hunt. If anyone has suggestions, I'm on the hunt for things to do with pom-poms other than just, putting them on the top of our hats. Because I want excuses to make more pom-poms because they're so freaking cute. I can't even stand it. I can't stand it. Yeah. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun making all the pom-poms for my pom-pom video. Some of them turned out better than others. So this week's live stream, talking about a little bit of gadgets, I'm going to show you where I am at with my temperature blanket. If you don't know, I do have my own little fiber group on a platform called Mighty Network. And we are doing a year-long, for people who want to participate in it, we're doing a year-long make-along temperature blanket. So I'm going to update you where I am with my temperature blanket. We're also, February 1st starts my first knit-along. We'll just jump into that now. So a while ago, I'm going to put this on. A while ago, sorry, I'm putting on a fingerless glove. Made, and I'm so prepared, obviously. I'm going to model two versions of it. But I, a while ago, designed these gloves. Bring these closer. These are my mirror, I call them my mirror gloves. This was inspired by mermaids, because I wanted to be a mermaid as a child, and I made these gloves so I could feel more like a mermaid. Let me bring up my overhead. Here we go. So yeah, this is the long version where I did like little fingers, and this was a short version of it that I did that's more of a fingerless mitten, I guess, technically. So I have written up the pattern, finally, and the pattern is a combination. It's this length, but with this ending. So it's not the finger, it's not the little fingers. But we're going to do a knit-along in February. I have been talking about doing this knit-along for a while now, for a very long while, and finally got the pattern written. That starts on February 1st. If you want to take part, you can join my fiber group. There is a link down in the description box. Just click on it, and you can be invited into the group. And it's just a fiber group. And the reason I'm saying that is my latest blog post, I discuss why I chose to put my fiber group on something like Mighty Network, which is just a platform for people who want to create a community board. That's all it is. It's not dissimilar to Facebook groups. I have a blog post about why I chose to do that. The thing, I'll tell you the funny story about this. So when I created the group, I've had it for a while, but I hadn't done much with it. But when I decided to do the temperature blanket, I was like, let me see if I can really get this going. Okay, I'll see if I can really get this going. So I sent out an email blast to my email list. I do have an email list. If you'd like to be on my email list, you can get a free knitting pattern. That link should be down in the description box. If it's not, you can visit my website, knitswhereit'sat.com. A pop-up will come up, and you can join the email list and get a free knitting pattern. It's a dishcloth that I always knit. If you're familiar with my channel, you know the dishcloth I'm talking about. Anyway, so I sent an email blast out to my email list saying, hey, I'm doing this thing. I got this thing. If you want to join, here's the link. Well, I got a very concerned email from somebody, and let me just say up front, I understand and respect their concerns and their skepticism. And their concern was basically that with everything going on in the world, so many scams and nefarious elements, How can anybody just trust this email from me? Why not? I should put my group on either Ravelry or Instagram or Facebook to be trusted, so people know that it's legitimate. The implication being that this might somehow be some, like, I don't know, doorway into some conspiracy something. And it was a legitimate concern. I totally understand the skepticism. So I wrote up a blog post explaining why I have not put my group on Ravelry. The Ravelry is sometimes referred to me by the site that shall not be named because Ravelry is having major accessibility issues. Ravelry is not an option. I personally have some issues with Facebook, various issues with Facebook, and I just didn't want to put my fiber group on Facebook. And so I chose a platform that is just a totally legitimate, very corporate-like platform. So anyway, I just think it's a funny story. I think it's funny. It's kind of sad in a way too, but I was kind of amused by the notion that somehow my little fiber group would be anything else. And the thing I said in my blog post was, and this is the truth, the thing I said in my blog post is you can know that it's legitimate, hopefully, that you can trust this because I'm trustworthy. Hopefully I'm trustworthy, and you can then know that whatever I'd say, hey, if you want to join me on this thing, is also trustworthy. As I always say, my integrity is key to my success, not just with this, but in life generally. And if I don't have that, I don't have anything. So I'm always going to do my level best not to get involved with anything that I cannot stand behind 100% totally comfortably. So anyway, but yes, we are doing a knit along starting February 1st. The pattern, it's free. This is free because I am not a professional designer or pattern writer. I hope that the pattern I've written up is clear. I think it is. But it's free if you want to be a part of it, if you want to take part. And it's a fingerless glove mitten, and it doesn't take much yarn. In the pattern I said 2 balls of like wool. I need to actually be more specific about yardage on that. But I have always made these using Knit Picks wool of the Andes, and I think generally it's only taken a ball, but I put down 2 balls to be safe. But yes, that is going on, and I'm going to be working this pattern up myself during the knit along, so today you can help me pick some colors, because I have not picked the yarn yet. So we're going to do a little help Carrie pick some yarn for her next project. That'll be fun today. What else? Then I thought if we have time, we can talk. I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things maybe in terms of sort of knitters and patterns, and it's a conversation that came up on Twitter, and that has to do with pattern. This is a pet peeve of mine, which is specifically sock patterns, but really any pattern that's knitted in the round that traditionally might be done on DPNs. I have a pet peeve now that when patterns are written specifically for DPNs in mind, like it's written specifically for a DPN setup, where it's like, do this on needle 2, needle 3, do this on needle 4. It is a pet peeve of mine because, truth be told, I will use DPNs. I actually kind of enjoy DPNs, and yet DPNs for a lot of things like socks is not my first choice. Socks, I almost always knit on 2 circular needles. I know a lot of people like knitting socks with magic loop, and I feel like in this day and age, when there are so many alternatives to how we can knit things like socks and gloves, having a pattern that's written up specifically for DPNs, I feel is very outdated, and it's a pet peeve of mine. Granted, taking a pattern that is written with DPNs for DPNs and adapting that to other methods is not complicated. The easiest thing to do is just where the first needle would end, you put a stitch marker. And where the second needle will end, you put another stitch marker. And you use stitch markers to denote where the different needle positions would be. That's like the easiest way that you can adapt a DPN pattern for other methods. But the fact is, there are a lot of knitters out there, especially newer knitters, but even experienced knitters, who are put off by having to sort of do that mental gymnastics, because it is a bit of mental gymnastics to translate a pattern that's written for a specific needle setup to another needle setup. And I am an advocate for, and my pattern for my glove is written as something that's called, Kate Atherley calls it needle agnostic. I call it needle neutral. I learned that term from Liz Cork, who's one of my favorite designers. And I mean, the whole idea is basically like, yes, here's a recommended needle size, but you decide the setup you want to use. And I'm going to just write up my pattern basically using stitch counts. Maybe placing some markers here or there to denote a certain pattern section. But basically, it is writing the pattern, not assuming what tools the knitter will use. And I much prefer that. I think that empowers us, the makers, to make choices and to have our own preferences and not feel like, oh, am I doing this wrong? Now, I personally never feel that way. I know, but there are a lot of knitters who do. And it goes back to this same thing where, you know, a lot of times knitters are just, they learn, this is how you do it. And they don't necessarily know all the mechanics of why they're being told to do something that way. And so they're not always aware of how to make adjustments until someone tells them. Jillian, I have the same pet peeve. Oh my God, using stitch markers to mark the needles is so simple, yet so annoying. It is. It's so simple, but it is annoying. Now, mind you, I don't have it with me. It's out on the couch. It's out on the purple couch. I normally, for stitch markers, I use scrap yarn. I don't like having things dangling off my needles that most likely is just going to fall off. So I use scrap yarn that hangs over the running thread between the stitches, and I flip that that scrap yarn back and forth every row or every couple of rows. So it actually kind of gets woven into the knitting itself, and it doesn't go anywhere, and it's brilliant. Scrap yarn is a great, great stitch marker. There's a video I need to do. I need to write this down, which is, actually I'll write this down now. A video I've been wanting to do, and I need to write it down now because I'm going to shoot it next week, is like top uses of scrap yarn. If you're interested, are you interested? This is a total tangent. Are you interested in a video discussing like top 5 uses for scrap yarn for knitter? Because, oh my God, I love scrap yarn for all sorts of things when it comes to knitting. So yeah, but it's annoying. And I think it doesn't empower knitters, and I think that a lot of knitters get intimidated by a pattern that's written up with specific like setups like that. Sometimes there are advantages. Sometimes you have stitch patterns that lend themselves to a particular needle setup. DPN, like if you have a stitch pattern where you're having to transfer stitches back and forth between your needles, one downside of magic loop or 2 circular needles is if you need to transfer a stitch back and forth between one half of your knitting and the other, it's not the easiest thing in the world. DPNs work better for that situation, but I would rather a designer write up their pattern needle neutral and then tell me why they recommend a particular setup. Just tell me why, and then I can decide whether I agree with that or not, or if I'm like, I see your point, but I'm still going to go with this other method because of these various reasons that I have. Even with DPNs. Yes, nowadays the standard is 5 DPNs in a set and setting up socks on 4 DPNs and knitting with your 5th. That is how most patterns today are written. This is a new phenomenon, however. For a long time, it was very common for socks to be knitted on 3 needles with using your 4th one to knit off. And DPNs only came in sets of 4. The way that setup would work basically is the front half of the sock would be divided between the 2 needles, and then the back half where the heel was would go on the 3rd needle. That was a very common setup. There are people who prefer that. But how are a lot of sock patterns today written up? If they're being written up for a DPN, they're being written up for 5 DPNs. So I don't know. I've obviously, who knew I could talk this long about this? Oh, everybody who's ever watched my channel knows I could talk this long about things like this. This is why I have a knitting channel, by the way. Because nobody in my real life knits, and they are not interested in me going off on how patterns are written. I'm like, interested. Oh my god. Do you all deal with that in your life? Where you're around people who aren't into your craft, and so you are just like would love to just talk their ear off about some like really minutia about it, and they're just like, you get that glazed over look like, oh, that's so okay, well, if you say so. I think my mom has actually said that. It's like, if you say so. Oh my god. Bless my friends and family who have had to sit through me going through one of these diatribes. Hey, Whitney, welcome! Thank you for joining us today. So glad that you're here. So, yeah. I think we all seem to agree, though, that writing patterns up specific for a needle setup is passé. I think that's the nice way to put it. I think it's passé. Yeah. So, unless anyone else has any questions or anything, something else I wanted to just talk about real quick on today's video, and this has to do with knitting speed. I have no good segue to this, but it's something that's been on my mind the last couple of days, because in one of the various online groups that I'm in, a knitter came on and was very concerned. She's going, I think I'm such a slow knitter. And the reason she thinks she's a slow knitter is because she watches various knitting podcasts, YouTube things, and it's like every week they have a hat done, they have a hat and sweater done, they have all these projects done, and how are they getting through all this? I'm so slow. It takes me 4 or 5 days to knit a pair of socks. It takes me months to knit a sweater, and how can I be faster? And my heart just went out to the person, because so many people think they're slow knitters and they're not. But because they see somebody, on the internets who's most likely a professional knitter or a near professional knitter, who's dedicating a lot of time to knitting, like physical time, they think, oh, I'm so slow. And what I told her was like, look, she's like, well, I've been trying different ways to learn how to knit, but it's so hard, and the way I knit is a little unusual. And the way she knits is, she basically knits continental with the yarn in her left hand, but she throws it, which I've seen people do. It's not common, but it's not unheard of. And I just said, I was like, based on what she said in terms of how long it takes her to finish a project, I'm like, you don't sound like a slow knitter to me at all. I was like, you sound like you're finishing projects in a reasonable amount of time. But I think this is another pet peeve of mine, which is people getting caught up in, I gotta knit faster. How do I knit faster? Now, I say this as someone who, in my way, has contributed to this, because I have videos titled Knit Faster with Lever Knitting, Knit Faster Ribbing. I feel like I'm contributing to this, and admittedly, I titled those videos that way to get attention, because I know people are interested in learning how to knit faster. My thing, though, is like, I'm all for knitting more proficiently, meaning like, yes, you have a certain economy of movement, because ergonomically, that's a good thing. You're going to save your wrist. You're going to save your hands. I think it's more important, though, than getting like a certain number of stitches done in a minute, like raw speed, is like, are you making a lot of mistakes and having to frog back? Because honestly, if I have the thing that slows up my knitting the most is me screwing up the stitch pattern and having to frog back and rework that row. Me being able to knit a couple of stitches faster per minute is not going to make up for the time that it takes to undo stitches, get them back up on the needle, and then rework the row. So I would rather knit a little slower, but be paying attention to my work and having fewer mistakes than to just knit faster. And the other thing too, even in terms of knitting faster, is some days you knit faster than others. Some days I sit down and I feel like my fingers are just flying, like magic has entered my body and I am the sorceress of fiber, just knitting, and it feels magical and it's amazing and I am in the zone, right? I imagine this is how athletes feel when they're in the zone. Other days, it's like I'm knitting through molasses. It's like I can't get my fingers to move. It's mud. I keep making mistakes. It's a section of a repeat I've done over and over again, and for whatever reason, that day can't make it work. We all have days like this. We all have days like this. And on the one hand, I'm like, look, if you want to learn a new way to knit, for whatever reason, whether it's because you think you might enjoy it more, because you think the ergonomics might be better for you, because you're just curious, I'm all for it. You learn how to knit all the ways that you want to learn how to knit. I am someone who's learned to knit multiple ways. I always say, if there was a way to knit with your toes, I would probably go, oh, I want to learn how to do that with knitting too. But, learning new ways to knit just so that you can be faster, to me, is self-defeating. Because truth is, for most people, you're not going to gain that much speed. You're just not. In my opinion. That's my humble opinion. I think the other reason I get a little annoyed with the whole knit faster, I want to knit faster, is people do mistake knitting faster for knitting better. Like, I'm a better knitter if I can knit faster. No, you're not a better knitter because you can knit faster. You're just a faster knitter. That doesn't mean, what makes a good knitter is, are you pain-free? Are you enjoying your work? Are you getting good results? Knitting faster, and people think if I knit faster, I will get more produced. Well, will you? You might shave off like an hour or two, most people, but you're probably not gonna like get more done than you think you are. The thing that gets more work done is spending more time knitting. That's the thing. Getting more work produced is usually about dedicating more time to producing work and not raw knitting speed. But my big pet peeve about it is the continental versus English knitting conversation. As everybody knows, I am a lover knitter. I can knit continental. I'm proficient at it. I don't enjoy it as much, but there's this bias against English knitting these days, and it is very much tied to people saying, well, continental is just so much faster, as if it's inherently faster. Don't get me wrong, I think that the way a lot of people have learned how to do English style knitting or throwing is less than ideal. And another reason I started my channel was I wanted to put out videos to say, this is how you can be a more efficient, quicker, but English knitter. Because you probably have not been taught a better way of doing it. But this notion that continental is inherently faster and therefore inherently better way of knitting just irks me, because I feel like English knitters, and I have fallen into this, I am talking about myself at the moment, almost start to feel insecure about how we knit. Like, but I've seen comments like, oh, I know, I'm just a thrower. I've tried continental, I just can't seem to get it. And it's like, you should not feel badly about how you knit. Nobody should feel badly about how they knit. or insecure or anything like that, because it's like, we knit to bring happiness into our lives. And if you are happy with the results that you're getting, it ain't anybody's business how you got there. It really isn't. You are the boss of your knitting. So, I'm always like, never like apologize for how you knit, Never apologize for how you knit. Never. I mean, there's no reason for it. It's a hobby. It's a craft. This is a love and a passion, There's no reason to ever apologize for how we knit. All right, so I'm off my soapbox. I hope that was enjoyable. So let's look at my temperature blanket real quick. So my temperature blanket is not knitting. This is Tunisian crochet that I'm doing this with, and I'm very excited because I've actually managed to stay on top of it. I'm only like a couple of days behind, and that's fine. That's perfectly part of my plan. So let me just get my overhead here. So here it is. This is where I'm at with it. You can see that it's being built up. Let's see, I'm gonna zoom out a little bit here. Oops, other way, out. There we go. You can see more of my messy desk. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and I am making this corner to corner. So that's why it's on this diagonal, because I'm working on a diagonal. And I'm using a technique that is called Tunisian crochet entrelac. So each one of these squares is built up individually. So each square is a day. And you can see right here, we had a cold snap. This whole row here is lilac because originally I was going to do my coldest temperature I have it here. Originally it was going to be 57 degrees. 57 degrees and below was going to be a particular color. I changed that because in LA, getting below like 57 degrees is rare, so I changed it to my coldest temperature being 61 degrees and below. Well, we had a cold snap, and there were a lot of but I think, yeah, there were some below 57 degrees days here. But that's okay. I feel like I needed that because look at all this other randomness happening in my blanket. So that's where I am with my temperature blanket, and it's Tunisian crochet. If you're not, Tunisian crochet is so cool. I have these different stitch patterns. So each diagonal, I'm doing a different stitch pattern just to give some more interest to it and to make it interesting. So this diagonal, this here, right here, this looks like knitting, doesn't it? It's not. This is the Tunisian knit stitch. And then this here is the Tunisian purl stitch. And then along the border, I'm just doing Tunisian simple stitch along the edge. So that's what my blanket is looking like thus far. I'm very excited about this. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. And in addition to just logging each day, there we go. In addition to logging each day what my high temperature is, I'm also writing down a daily gratitude. So doing gratitude is a practice that I have tried to do off and on for years, but I've never been particularly consistent with. So since I'm recording a high temperature every day anyway, I was like, why not also, as a way to kind of like mark the days, write down a gratitude or something I'm thankful for, just a little positive thought each day. And I'm finding that I'm really enjoying it. One thing I have to be a little careful about with this, though, is sometimes I find myself stressing, like, I gotta think of something to be grateful for. Like, it shouldn't be that stressful, and it's okay to repeat. Like, I don't have to come up with something new every single day. Like, it's okay to say each day, I'm just really grateful for my family. I'm really grateful for my family. So this week, I wanted to share a gratitude from just one of them. I'm trying to decide which one. This is the one I'm going to share today, and that is perseverance. I am grateful for perseverance. And this has to do with crafting life, but it also has to do with my YouTube channel. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to get up and get things done. And sometimes it is a struggle. But perseverance, embracing the struggle, can actually help get through those tough moments. And this is even true with crafting, because my temperature blanket is what, this is so tiny. This is so tiny. But this square right here, I came up to it and I realized I'd made a mistake. I had forgotten to bind off the edge of the square, and I already cut the thread, and it was just one of those moments of like, oh, this is tiny, a tiny, tiny thing. But I was like, you know what, Carrot, just undo the square, it's fine, and remake it. And sometimes we come up to a mistake in our knitting life or our crafting life, and we can just start feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna get through this. And it's like important in those those moments, I think, to just take a breath and go, you know what? Just go about the business of fixing it, and it's fine. And then when you're done, it'll be like just one more story to the project. And it's okay. It's okay to run into roadblocks. It's okay to have stumbling blocks. Our ability to persevere and push forward is more important. And these are like the life lessons from crafting that I feel like is just always like I carry through into my daily life as well. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. So let's have some fun, and let's talk about yarn for the Mira glove. I feel like I'm covering so many things today and just hopping all over the place. I hope that it's not like feels totally random. And if anybody has any questions about whatever, please let me know. But let's go ahead and look at some yarn choices for my Mira glove, and you guys can help me decide what to use. So first off, I do have this. Now, I would only need one ball of this. This is Cascade Superwash 220. This is Superwash, yes. This is the Cascade Superwash 220. This is such a lovely yarn. It really is. This is a workhouse wool, in my opinion. But I feel like this is a little like next level when it comes to workhouse wools. In fact, I want to do a review of some workhouse wool yarns. If anybody has like, oh yeah, that is a wool that's like economical, I can always go to it in a pinch, let me know in the comments and the description box, because I want to kind of do a comparison of like an epic review of sort of these like very like affordable, approachable wool yarns. But anyway, so this is two of them. Now I feel like this blue is appearing probably a little brighter on camera, but it's a gorgeous blue, and I love this. What I love about the Cascade 220 is it does have ever so much of a shimmer to it. Let's see, the wool, it's 100% superwash wool. That's all it says, but I don't know what sheep they're using, but this has a shimmer to it that you don't always find in 100% wools, and it's just lovely and squishy and smells good. I've had this for a while. So the thing is though, like this orange is a kind of burnt orange color, and I feel like it would be a bit more of an earthy glove, This blue would be, I could be a beautiful blue mermaid with this one. So those are two options. And then I have this. This is Knit Picks Jalapeno. I don't know if they still have this color or not. This label is from a couple of cycles back from Knit Picks. I've had this yarn for a while. I shopped my stash. But this is a beautiful green. It's a darker green color. This green is very much like, this speaks ocean, this color green. It's a little more blue in it. This green is a little more earthy and grassy. So this would be like a river fish. This would be like a river fish mermaid kind of feel, I think. This is ocean. This is river. I don't know. Next, oh, you know what? I realized I pulled out this yarn as maybe one to use, and I just realized I've used this before. This is Seraphim. It's gorgeous lilac purple. So actually, I think I'm gonna put this aside because I've already made a pair of gloves in this color. So that's easy. My last option is this one, this is coral. This is called conch, but it is a coral peachy orange. I love this color. This would be, I'd be a beautiful like coral mermaid with these gloves. So those are kind of the options. Let me know what you think. They all, I think, would create a different feel, a different kind of mermaid. Let me see if I can zoom out. Zoom in a little bit? No, let's zoom out. So they would all have a different kind of feel. I think personally, this is not right to me. Jillian, Evie, I know fun facts about the breed used with Cascade. If you want random sheep facts, I always want random sheep facts. Yes, please share. Do not hold back. I want all the random wool facts. I want them all. But yeah, I love this color so much. This would be really pretty. You know, this reminds me kind of like an angelfish sort of color. Is it the angelfish that's like blue and like has the big like almost translucent fins? But that would be really pretty. Like I said, I feel like this would be a little bit more like a river fish. And then this would just be like, you know, this is like gorgeous, gorgeous fish. Any one of these would be a beautiful mermaid tail color. But let me know what you think. I want to know. I know which one I want to pick right now looking at them, but I said I was going to have everyone vote and be a part of this. So I'm going to wait and hear everyone's opinion before I decide. So yeah. Oh my God, coffee is so yummy. All right. Oh, Evie. It is Peruvian Highland wool, which is the same breed used in wool of the Andes. It's a cross between Merino and Corondale. Oh, that's so interesting. That's so interesting because I feel like maybe it's the way it's spun. Because I feel like, I'm going to switch back over to the overhead. I feel like the 220 has such like a shimmer to it and a sheen. I'm trying to get this into a good light. Whereas the wool of the Andes is a little matte. That's the word I'm going for. It's a little bit more matte. That's so interesting. And I also know that now that I'm looking at the twist, they're very similar. I feel like, if I remember correctly, the 220, the WPI is a little different than the Superwash, or from the Knit Picks. It's so interesting. And they don't feel this. Well, you know what though? This is a Superwash, and this is not a Superwash. This is not the Knit Pick Superwash. This is regular wool, so that's probably why they feel a little different. That's so interesting. Now I'm just staring at them going, oh my God. Because they don't feel the same when you work them, in my experience. I feel like the Cascade 220 is just spongier and yeastier and just feels a little more, I hate to use the word luxe, but it just feels a little bit more, you know, special than the wool of the Andes. And I love the wool. I'm a big fan of the wool of the Andes. I think this is a totally good, solid yarn that's affordable and economical. Oh, that's so interesting. And, oh, I'm so glad you told me that because I've always wondered, because it's always just said that it's Peruvian Highland wool. And I'm always like, what does that mean? But it's a combination of, it's a crossbreed. Oh, I'm so fascinated by that. A merino. Oh, it smells so good. And Corondale. Now, I know more about merino. I feel like I don't know much about Corondale. I'm so fascinated. That's an area where I feel like, excuse me as I scratch my nose, I was sticking my face in wool and now my nose itches. Because little floofies are up, you know, right on the edge. But I feel like that's an area of fiber that I really don't know enough about, which is different wool breeds. I mean, I know basics. I know the basics about wool, well, all the basics, but I know basics, right, about fibers. But I feel like there's so much more to know about just sheep wool that I just haven't explored. So, all right. No opinions on what to use for my next set of mirror gloves. I'm going to give it another few minutes and then I'll make a choice. So, speak now. Sorry if you're watching this on the replay. I am going to make a decision by the end, but let me put these here. All right, so I think let's go ahead and jump into doing wool is a rabbit hole. Vote blue. Oh, you vote blue. Okay. So Jillian votes blue. Yeah, wool is a rabbit hole. Everything's a rabbit hole. That's part of the fun of it. That's like, I admit, I was that kid who would get interested in a topic, and I would go to the library and I would check out like every book on it and just power read and like, you know, Google is like amazing to me because I'm just like, oh, and every day it's like, oh, that's something I'm kind of interested in. Let me Google that. Sometimes I feel like I am a jack of all trades but a master of none because I hop topics. But knitting has stayed true to my life. Knitting is always there. Other crafts have come and gone. Knitting is always with me. Always. All right. So we have a vote for blue. But while people consider whether they like the coral, the blue, or the green, so we have bluefish, riverfish, or coral fish, let me know. Let's jump in and start doing the pattern spotlight for the week, because there are some new patterns that came out from designers, and you know that I love to show off the designers. I vote blue. Oh, interesting. Everyone likes, well, you know, blue. It's a very pretty color. It is a very pretty color. Samantha is green. Oh, we got to vote for green. Truth be told, green is my favorite color. Like, I almost have to actively not knit with green a lot of times because I love green so much that I'm always like, oh, I'll just go with green. And it's like, no, Carrie, push yourself. By the way, funny thing I just realized. The hat that I'm wearing, it's these two colors. Just realized that I pulled them. I was just pulling yarn real quickly before I came on to start the live stream. I didn't even realize. Oh man. Back when I started doing the master hand knitting program, I started it. I started the first level of it. If you don't know what that is, the Knitters, what is it called? TKG, the Knitters Guild of America, Knitters Craft Guild, I forget the exact acronym. There is a program though called the Master Hand Knitters Program, and I did start it. Match set, yes. And I did start it. And what it is you basically, it's a long process. You get all of these swatches that they ask you to knit, and you have to research various techniques and master these various techniques, and then you write up a report on washing and blocking, and you have to answer questions about each swatch that you make, and it ends with having to knit a project. And the project was a mitten. And so I bought all of this Knit Picks wool to knit these mittens. And you only had to knit one. I knitted so many mittens. I can't even begin to tell you. Trying to like have one that I felt was good enough to be part of this program. Anyway, I never finished it because I just ran out of steam with all the writing. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not interested in doing all the writing. So I never finished it. But I did all the work. So yeah. But that's why I have so much of this. That's why I have so much of this Knit Picks Wool of the Andes yarn, and it's always being used in projects, is because I bought a ton of it for this mitten project in various colors because I was trying to find a color combination that would work for the program that I would enjoy. All right, let's do the pattern spotlight because we don't have a ton of time left. I'll run a little late as usual. That's okay. Oh, what do I need to do? I need to turn that off because I have to make sure I do this in a way that doesn't crash the live stream. There we go. All right, so here we are. Oh, and we are right there with our first new pattern of the week. This is from Periwinkle Dragon Designs. This is her mixed Precipitation socks. And these socks are so cool. So cool. This is actually a stranded color work pattern, but it's a very small repeat, so you don't have to worry about capturing the, I'm just gonna open this in a new tab. Open like a new tab. And while that loads, we'll have that there. Okay, so this is a very small repeat, so you don't have to worry about capturing floats. So if you've never done stranded color work before, and you know how to knit socks, this might be a good introduction to stranded color work. By the way, I still think that 2021 is already turning out to be the year of color work because I've seen so many new patterns doing stranded color work. Last year, it seemed like everything I was seeing was twisted stitches. This year, I feel like everything I've been seeing, not everything, but a lot I've been seeing has been stranded color work. There we go. You can see more. Oh, it's so cool. So cool. So what she's done with this, it's 2 colors, but it looks like she changes the dominant and not dominant colors to create this gradation in the sock. So she says, these socks embody the spirit of that ambiguous weather phrase by going through misty snow to mostly rain on one sock and mostly rain to mostly snow on the other, both with a silvery sparkle of ice. Mixed Precipitation is a perfect first colorwork sock. It is composed of only short, easy to remember repeats with no long floats to catch or chain. This sock is worked from the toe up, and it has a gusset and heel flap, which is so interesting because the thing about, let me just go here, you can do a flap and gusset from the toe up, but you have to be you have to know where to start doing your increases for the heel turn in various parts. Personally, for toe-up socks, this is my thing. I personally prefer, when doing toe-up socks, to use a short row heel because I think it's easier. Frankly, I just think it's easier with a toe-up sock to do a short row heel. But I know a lot of people don't love short row heels because they have a higher instep. So this is a toe-up, but a lot of times toe-up socks will use things like short row heels or afterthought heels just because it's easier to know when to start the heel shaping. So anyway, if you like flap and gusset and you want a toe-up sock, this might be a good pattern for you. But yeah, it's gorgeous. I think it's a gorgeous pattern. Let me just bring it back up. So yeah, this is a lovely, lovely pattern. If you don't know, Periwinkle Dragon Designs has some of the most unique and original designs that I have seen. I just love her work. And yeah. Next up, from KBJ Designs, another sock. This week had a lot of sock patterns. This is her Cadence sock. And this sock, to me, is so delightful. Like, it's just a delightful sock. It's a rib, the stitch pattern is based in ribbing. I'm gonna quickly, and just so you don't have to watch my computer getting over to the website, I'm gonna just click on it real quick and let it load before I switch back over. There we go. Okay, so here it is, so we can look closer at the sock itself. But you can see here that the stitch pattern is based in rib, right? but you have these channels of what looks like bead stitch, which is like garters, like a column of garter stitch in between stockinette, but you have this eyelet pattern that runs down the side that I think is so cool. Now, one of the things with KBJ Designs that she does is she mirrors the ribbing in the cuff with the ribbing on the heel. I'm pretty sure that this is a flap and gusset heel with a French heel turn. But it's lovely. I really love how she does that. I just think it gives a nice cohesion to the sock. One thing about flap and gussets to me is sometimes, because a lot of times with flap and gusset, you will use either heel stitch or partridge stitch. The heel doesn't always look as elegant, and it looks a little like it doesn't quite sometimes, depending on the stitch pattern, match what's going on. But I think that what she does here with this flap and gusset by carrying the stitch pattern down the heel makes it look cohesive and elegant and lovely. And I'm pretty, are those twisted stitches? I can't quite tell. But yeah, I just think that's a lovely sock. So well done. Well done. I'm going to flip back over here. And we have, this is a crochet pattern from Make with Maggie. And this is the Sparks Fly Knit and Hat set. And I was all, I'm going to flip the desktop share off so you don't have to watch something load. And that went out the window here. This is done with a chunky yarn. So this would work up very quickly. But to me, this is so interesting because this is crochet, but it is using cabling techniques, and it almost looks like knitting. But doesn't it just look like so warm and cozy and just squishy? And oh, it is lovely. This is really lovely crochet pattern, I think. And it would work up so quickly because it's done in a chunky yarn. And look, she has a fun pom-pom. Who doesn't love a fun pom-pom sometimes? By the way, if anyone has tips on how to make pom-poms that last, I would love to know them, because I know that is an issue with pom-poms. Is that the last pattern for this week? Yes, that is the last new pattern for this week. Is the Sparks Fly from Make with Maggie. So not a ton of new patterns this week, which is fine, but there are some lovely new work out there. I think this year is off to a really nice start with patterns, with new patterns. I don't know. I just think they're lovely. Okay, so I feel like I covered a lot of topics today, but I feel like I covered them really efficiently. So we're going to start wrapping things up. So I have a vote. I have several votes for blue. I have a vote for green. You know, the funny thing is my favorite is the coral. I could do two. I could do another set in the blue and the coral. Like, this pattern knits up quickly for me. And I always enjoy doing it. But you know what? I've always made these gloves with wool of the Andes. So I'm going to follow the wisdom of the crowd, and I will do my mirror glove in the blue. If you want to join along in the knit along, or just follow the progress of it, you can join my fiber group, Knits Where It's At, on Mighty Networks. Again, the link to join is down in the description box. So, you know, and I will be posting the complete pattern on the 1st of February, which I believe is tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow. What else was I going to say about it? Oh, yeah, because I already have, like, the introduction to the pattern up, and this, by the way, I didn't mention, this pattern on the front of the glove, this is a slip stitch pattern. It's called the honeycomb slip stitch pattern, and I have the chart for this pattern up as well, but the complete pattern is going to be up tomorrow. So if you want to join in, it'll be going on for the entire length of February. So, you know, if you decide later, like, if you're not there right from the start, don't worry. You can hop in anytime. It's fine. Hop in anytime. But the knit along will be going on for the entire month of February. Also, if you want, if you've already started a temperature blanket, or you think maybe I do want to do a temperature blanket for 2021. It's never too late to start. Never too late to start. You can also like head over and be a part of that make along as well. And just so you know, the temperature blanket make along is very much kind of a self-directed opportunity, coming up with kind of how you want to approach doing a temperature blanket. That's kind of, I think, has been the fun part of the temperature blanket, besides figuring out a color gauge for my temperature gauge, is also deciding, did I want to knit it? Did I want to crochet it? I decided to do 2-niche crochet, deciding if I was going to do rows or square by square. I have some prompt questions up at that make along to help people along in making the, but this is an opportunity for you to make something that is totally yours and unique, which I think is a lot of fun. Also, though, I do have some downloads to help people out, including a temperature log, and this is my temperature gauge, and I put that up on the group for people as a resource if people want to do this. So, yeah, you can find that all at the Fiber Knitting group. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry, I now have to go through my hashtag cheeky plug segment. Gotta do it. If you have not already, please like this video. Thank you. Try to think. Oh, so schedule next week. Let me get that first. Sorry, I'm not being organized. I'm not being organized at the moment. One day I'll be really organized, and maybe I'll have an outline to the front, so this doesn't feel like so much like me just jumping from one topic to another, randomly what's coming off the top of my head. But this is me. This is live stream. This is the fun of live stream. Anyway, this coming week, I will not have a new video uploaded this week, most likely. You never know, something could happen and one could go up. But I'm not planning on uploading a video this week. I'm going to be working on shooting a whole bunch of videos to get a little bit ahead for myself, which reminds me, if there's any topic you want me to cover, you have a question, now is a great time. Now is a great moment, because I'm going to be shooting a bunch of videos, and I'm always wanting to create the videos that you want to watch. So if you have any video suggestions, or hey Carrie, I'd love to hear more about this, let me know right now in the comments, or in chat, or down in the comments. That'd be great. But yes, so I'm going to be power shooting through videos next week, so I probably won't be uploading, because I am a one-woman operation. If I'm shooting, I'm not editing, and if I'm editing, I'm not shooting. But we will still have live stream next week, so live stream will still be happening. So yeah, I think that's that. Again, down the description box are links to my website. There's links to the Fiber group, and there are affiliate links. My mission, my goal, the thing that drives me every day to get up and get in front of the camera is to spread the joy of knitting and crafting in general. And using affiliate links helps support that goal. So if you're planning to do any shopping anyway, with a website with which I am affiliated, if you utilize one of my links and you make a purchase, I may earn a small commission. Also, if you're like, nah, I don't need anything, I'm not going to shop, I totally get it. But you can always buy me a coffee and leave a small tip. Buy me a coffee is just a way to leave tips, and any tips that I get reinvested back into the channel, and you can always know what I'm planning to do with those tips, because I have a goal set up on my Buy Me a Coffee. And right now my goal is to actually get a new webcam. That's my goal, so that I can keep improving my channel and improving the live stream. So yes, if you have not already, please make sure to thumbs up this video, and if you are new to my channel and you have not already, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I'm doing this because in my uploaded videos, I have little graphics that pop up. But subscribing, liking, hitting the notification bell. These are all ways that lets the YouTube algorithm know that this is a space worth checking out. And then it suggests my video to other crafters discover it, and this community can keep growing. I cannot believe the increase that I have seen this first month of the year. I'm very excited. It's very exciting, and I would like to keep the momentum going. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone who's here with me today and always. I'm so grateful to you, to all of you who watch my videos, who comment, who come to the live stream, either while it's happening or watch it on replay. Just thank you so much. Just watching my videos, subscribing, liking them is a tremendous amount of support, and I'm so appreciative of it. Appreciative. I'm so appreciative of it. And you, the viewer, is something I am grateful for all the time. You are on my daily gratitudes for sure. So I think that is everything for today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Hope you have a great week ahead. If you want to keep up with me when I'm not on YouTube, you can always follow me on my social media. Guess what? All my social media is down in the description box. Everything is down in the description box. But yes, again, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, happy health and happy knitting. Bye.